What's up, everybody? Here I'm going to showcase how to flip cars without being a mechanic. Without having any mechanical knowledge, you can make money flipping cars. Here's how I did it. This is a 2014 Toyota Sienna. It had 175-ish thousand miles. I think it was a little bit less. Quite high mileage, but the seller had noted that when the water pump was leaking, he had the water pump changed out. And also while they were there, they changed out some idler pulleys and they changed out the timing chain. And that's a huge expensive service. So that really helped me sell it. In the end, we ended up selling it for $10,000. The seller actually posted it for $10,500, but I used my my negotiation skills, my tactics, and I was able to get him down to $8,300. He was just kind of I want to be done and get this over with. I actually when I went to go test drive it, he had hardly any gas left in the tank. And I said, listen, $8,300 right now, you don't even have enough gas money for another test drive. And that actually was, for whatever reason, just tied him over. And he actually verbally was like, oh, F it, whatever, I'll sell it to you for $8,300. So it was just funny how it worked out. But never be afraid to offer something quite a bit lower than what they were asking in the first place. And here, ultimately, my skill here is I'm just going to get this thing detailed up. I'm going to make it look as good as I possibly can. Quick dance party before we do the inside. But really the biggest thing is just you never want to sell a dirty car. Here I always start with the vacuum first. I'm going to vacuum every square inch of the car. Really is just, you don't want to sell a car that is any dirty. You don't want when you're going to buy a car, you want the car to be like new. People feel like they're spending, $10,000. It better not be dirty at all. And after I move into the vacuum and vacuum everything, I'll start spraying out any of the stains and using as much, using a lot of product to get some of those more major stains out. Always use the drill attachment. Your drill is your best friend when you're dealing with carpets. And I drilled as well on the back seats here on these floor mats. I'm using the dry method. You do not need a carpet extractor per se. Definitely helps on cloth seats. Here I'm using it on the floor mats. But you really, you could just use a clean towel, and after you sprayed and drilled, you could just clean that top layer. That's really, really the main thing. If you're using extractors, you can actually cause wicking, where you're adding too much water and you're actually making the stain grow and get bigger, and it's really difficult. So clean that top layer. You don't need a bunch of fancy equipment. Here I'm using a leather cleaner. This is Superior Products. This stuff, it is extremely toxic and powerful. Actually, I'm wearing a mask right now, and I'm wearing heavy-duty caustic gloves. I would highly recommend it when you're using this product. You can find it at O'Reilly's. It's very known, but it just melts away the grime. It's the seat is changing colors. It's super, super strong stuff, but be very careful. Here I'm just using a magic eraser, getting any of that skin cell buildup, especially on the steering wheel and even on the shift knob. And then I'm using compressed air to kind of blast out any of the dirt in the cracks, get the vents cleaned up, and just be careful around those buttons. I'm not fully pulling down on the trigger, but I've got it set to about 90 PSI. You don't need that much around those delicate buttons. Here I'm using the magic eraser just to get that disgusting grime off the steering wheel. And then now I'm hitting in with a interior shine or protectant. It just really gives it that just like new appearance. Kind of hides any of those interior scratches sometimes. And yeah, it just gives it really good gloss and appearance. Hit it with some tire shine. Always hit the wheel wells as well. You don't want any disgusting looking wheel wells. And then here I'm going to get the headlights sanded down. I didn't have 2000 sandpaper. This is 2500 grade sandpaper. I wish I could use 2000 first. I just didn't have any, but results still turned out good. I'm doing a wet sanding method. I'm not doing any circles. I'm just doing straight lines and sanding down that top layer. Usually they get foggy more on the top section, so I'm really just focusing more on the top section. Wipe it clean. Use like a window cleaner, some type of paint prep to get that all cleaned up before you polish. Here I'm using Meguiar's Plastic X specifically for the headlights. And All you need is just a little foam pad. You could find a Meguiar's kit, and you just need a drill. Just grab the drill off the shop floor, and just go to town on it. Moving back and forth, left to right, over and over, and just keep doing overlapping passes. At first, it's going to feel really awkward. I've done this probably 1,000 times on headlights, so I feel very controlled with it. But just beware. Start slow, and don't press too hard. It's just it'll feel awkward at first, but it's super, super important when you're going to sell a car. You don't want foggy headlights, and it's easy to do. Here I'm using a little bit of Shiny Car Stuff. It is like a liquid clear coat. It's actually kind of a new technology, and you can even apply it on the paint on some scratches you'll see later. But that gives about 2 years of protection over the headlights to stop them from getting yellow again. Here I'm just going to touch up the door jambs. Super important, very overlooked. People when they open the door, that's kind of their first impression. And when you open the door, you see the door jambs. You want them looking perfect. Here I'm just going to clean up the inside glass. Here I'm prepping some of these scratches you can see on the bottom right. I'm using an acetone mixture. You could any paint prep would work. And just cleaning it off, getting any wax residue off. And I'm going to hit it with some Shiny Car Stuff, and look at those scratches just completely disappear. I love this stuff. It's super helpful. And you're supposed to let it cure overnight, and it should be good by the next day. Just keep it inside above 50 degrees is what they rate it for. And this stuff lasts about 2 years on average. If it's sitting outside in the baking sun, probably not that long, but it's super helpful when you're going to sell a car. Here I'm hitting it with a little bit of hand wax on these plastic trims here just to shine them up a little bit more. Kind of puts it's just kind of like an oily, anything. Well, you could even use WD-40 to put it on there. I just like to make those plastics pop. It just really helps kind of get some of those fingerprints out. Just wipe it clean. Overall, man, I mean, it's just detailing a car. You don't need to be a mechanic to make money flipping cars. And I've really showcased it here. You just got to have the ability to negotiate and find a good deal. It's all about the numbers. And here's the after results. I mean, the steering wheel was a completely different color. It's full of grime. Everything looks awesome. This is a great looking van. And it even had reclining seats, which is kind of cool for a 2014. And there's a double sunroof. It's kind of a loaded package. Here's the final result on the outside. Got the van looking superb for sale. It was an easy $1,700, easy $1,700 in my life. I just cleaned it. That's it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist when you go and inspect it. Great flip.